Hey, what's up guys? Jeremy here. Welcome back to my channel. Usually I make videos about Hawaii real estate or tips for real estate agents and sometimes videos about YouTube growth. But today I figured I'd touch on a topic that kind of goes hand in hand with real estate, and that is credit. If you ever want to get into the real estate market and buy a home, you're going to need credit. In the real world, credit is everything. And it's a shame that our education system doesn't teach us about credit. Some people don't even know that you need credit in order to buy a home. Now, unless you're a very wealthy person that has a lot of cash to buy real estate and you don't need to get a loan, then I guess you don't need credit. And if that's the case, give me a call and I'll help you to buy some Hawaii real estate. But in all seriousness, the purpose of this video is to debunk any myths or misconceptions that people have about credit cards, and building your credit score. Before we do that, I'm gonna have to ask you to please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow with the YouTube algorithm, and I'd really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Usually I would put some kind of joke here about you pressing the like button, but today I've got nothing, so I'm sorry. So anyway, myth number one is that it's better to have no credit cards at all. Obviously that is false, because if it were true, I wouldn't be making this video in the first place. I feel like there's a stigma with credit cards being the devil or something, or credit cards are bad because it's gonna lead you to going into debt. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that could be true, but really it just all depends on you and your self-control and the choices you make. It's only bad if you make bad decisions and put yourself in debt. You always hear these stories about people misusing their credit cards and racking them up and putting themselves into debt. So why is that? Well, that's because you only hear the bad stories. I mean, if you're someone with a perfect credit score who's made great financial decisions, you're not gonna go out to the public and brag and boast about how great you are, right? No one does that. But when you're someone who, went through some kind of hardship and did the wrong choices as far as credit cards and, maxing out your credit cards, then those people are the ones who want to warn you about it. And this is why most people think credit cards and having credit cards are bad. Because, well, it's not your fault, but you're only hearing the horror stories. But if you educate yourself and understand how credit cards work, then you can use that to your advantage to get ahead in life. What I like to say is that you can win any game as long as you learn the rules. And my number one rule is don't spend more than you can't afford to pay off at the end of the month. But sometimes you can't always do that, and sometimes you have to carry a balance. That is okay too. But make sure when you do this, you do it strategically and have a plan to when you're gonna pay it off. Because if you don't have a plan and you rack up those credit cards, the interest is gonna kill you, and that's how you get to the path of going down into debt. Myth number two. Having many credit cards is bad. This is very wrong. In fact, having a lot of credit cards is actually a very good thing for you. Think of your FICO score as your financial report card. If you have one grade and that grade is an A, that looks good for you. But if you have 10 grades and they all say A, then you even look better. Having several credit lines gives you more financial credibility. It's like when you're applying for a loan, you're basically trying to convince someone to lend you money. So if one person says you're good with money, then yeah, okay, you look good, maybe you'll get approved. But if 10 people say you're really good with money, then no doubt you're gonna get approved for the loan. And this is why I have 9 credit cards, because each different credit card has different benefits that gives you different points for different things. American Express and Chase are really good for travel. My Apple card is good for Apple products. My Discover It card is good for cash back, and my 2 Navy Feds are good for big purchases because they have high credit limits, which we're gonna talk about in the next myth. All right, so myth number 3 is you should never increase your credit limit. This is also very wrong. First, let's understand what affects your credit and by how much. First is payment history, and that affects your credit by 35%. Amounts owed is 30% of your credit. Length of credit history is 15%. New credit is 10%, and types of credit is also 10%. So that's 100%, right? So let's talk about amounts owed. Amounts owed consists for 30% of your credit score. What this means is your credit utilization and how much credit you use of your credit card. The rule of thumb is that you never want to use more than 30% of your credit card limit. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you never want to use more than $300. So if you have a small credit card limit, like let's say $500, what can you use that for? I don't know, maybe like gas or groceries or something. But if you want to buy like big purchases like TV or appliances or anything like that, you can't. So if you bought a $500 TV with a $500 credit card, you're gonna max out your credit card, and that's gonna be a big red flag to the banks. But if you bought a $500 TV on a credit card with a $25,000 limit, then it really wouldn't even matter. So here's a great example of how to explain that. So let's say this small cup is your $500 credit card. The limit is $500 and it is a small cup. If you buy a $500 TV, then you use up all your utilization. So as you can see, it is filled. If it's filled up, that means you're using 100% of your utilization. But if you make the same exact purchase, but with a credit card that has a, I don't know, $25,000 limit, then as you can see, the utilization is not even that much. So you can see the difference between using a $500 credit card versus a $25,000 card with a higher limit. There's 100% usage versus like 2% usage. And that is why it is important to increase the credit card limit on your credit card. It gives you more buying power and it looks good on your credit report. And that is why I have 9 credit cards with a credit utilization equal to over $100,000, so that I can put my day-to-day expenses on the different cards without maximizing my utilization, while at the same time getting points and benefits for each different card for the different purchases. So if and when I ever go to apply for a loan, the banks are gonna look at me and be like, whoa, Jeremy, you have $100,000 in credit limit. That basically means I am trustworthy to hold $100,000 in credit. Will I use all of it? No. But the fact that I have it in case of emergencies or anything that could happen, like a pandemic or something, then I have it to use. And if you want to know the credit cards I have USAA, Central Pacific Bank, I have American Express, Apple Card, Navy Fed Flagship and Navy Fed Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Discover It card, oh, and Home Depot. All right, so myth number 4 is that you should close credit card accounts that you don't use. Again, this is wrong. Remember, one of the factors that affect your credit score is length of credit history. When you have a credit card, that basically means that you're being trusted with a certain amount of money or credit. The longer you have a credit card, the better. That basically means the longer you are a trustworthy person, theoretically. I was lucky enough to get my first credit card at 16. I know what you're thinking, how the hell do you get a credit card at 16? So big thanks to my dad for thinking ahead, but when I was 16, he made me an authorized user for his credit card with USAA. So while it wasn't entirely my own, I was able to establish a connection to using credit cards at a very young age. It was a small $300 credit card that I used for like lunch at school or something. He told me to always pay it off at the end of the month, and that's what I did. I didn't know what I was doing, but he said, just do it. It's important. You'll thank me in the future. And here I am thanking my dad in the future. So now that I'm 26, I have a decade's worth of credit history, which looks very good on my credit report. And to be quite honest, I don't even use that card anymore. I think I increased the limit one time and I lost it and I just never used it. I didn't close it, I just kept it open, but I just never use it. So if you're watching this, I hope you're still not skeptical. I hope that you're not skeptical. God, that was so hard. If you're still watching this, I hope you're not skeptical. So if you're watching this, I hope you're still not skeptical, because as you can see, there's a lot of benefits to having credit cards. After this video, like literally go apply for a beginner credit card, something that doesn't have any annual fees, and it will help you get your feet in the door with credit. There have been several occasions where I come across a well-qualified client who's ready to buy a home, but they can't because they don't have credit. All right, so number 5 is late payments versus missed payments. This isn't really a myth, but it's something I really wanted to talk about because it's something that there's a lot of misconception about this topic. So if there ever was a time that you forgot to pay your credit card for the month, don't worry, it happens. It's totally normal. Everyone does it once or twice, or maybe 3 times, you know. But let's say your monthly payment was $100 and you forgot to pay that, and you say, you know, it's okay, I'll just pay $200 next month. Don't do that. A lot of people seem to think that that's okay, and that is not okay. That is very wrong. Do not do that. I hope my hand motions kind of give you an idea how serious this is. If it's late, you know, it's okay, just pay the $100. If you have a late fee, pay that too. It's because a late payment is way better on your credit score than a missed payment. It's literally the exact meaning of it's better late than never. If you're missing a payment, then on your credit report, it's gonna show that you're basically irresponsible. And maybe you're not an irresponsible person, but that's just how it looks towards the bank. Remember, 35% of your credit score is affected by your payment history. If you have a missing payment, it's going to heavily affect your credit score versus a late payment. So there you have it, guys. I hope that you got a lot of value from this video and that it cleared up any, misconceptions or, some weird ideas that you had about credit cards and building your credit score. If you like this video and you want me to make more videos about credit and credit cards, please put it below in the comments. And if you haven't already, please press the like button and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and I'm really trying to grow. If you would like to see more videos about Hawaii real estate or, real estate tips for real estate agents and YouTube growth, then subscribe for all of that content as well. So yeah, thanks for watching.